need a nominator. Who's the best nominator? Now, I have been providing updates to the GTI program. At the time you're watching this, the policy has already changed. So make sure when you check my content, make sure this is updated. Now, if you want to find further information, don't forget to subscribe our channel and watch our videos, or send us an email about asking current policy. And it really doesn't make sense if you keep watching and not taking action because law changed. Now, do I need a nominator? And what is nominator? Problem. The policy has changed dramatically since the time of announcement. At the time, nomination was not a mandatory. When you submit a EOI, they ask you, do you have a nominator? You say yes or no. If you say no, you can still proceed. A lot of candidates at the time got invitation without nomination. At a lot of time, a lot of candidates got invitation without a nomination. Only at the time they approach us, and if got invitation, ask us, hey, I don't have a nominator, can you help us? And then we know that at the time, lots of people got to GTI without nomination, without nominator. Now, is this still happening? No, it has stopped. So since this year, a lot of policy change in this area about nomination. Now, nomination is now a mandatory. On top of that, you have to have a professional connection with your nomination. Okay. Now your question will be, so what do you mean? Before this time, before August, nominator, my nominator does not has to be a professional connection with me. That right? That's right. Yeah, 100%. That's the policy at that time. So if you missed, you missed. Because at that time, you do not have a professional relationship with the nominator. As long as the nominator itself, himself, or organization itself actually recognize your talent, okay, that is sufficient. You don't need to have you do not need to have a professional connection with your nominator. But law change, okay, from August this year, from August 2021, the law changed. Now you have to have a professional relationship with your nominator. Now, prior to August, I always encourage people, and I say it really clearly, loudly. Majority of the nominator candidates are nominated by their friends, colleagues, boss, their vendors. So basically, it's through their own professional connection, right? From August, we've already done that. So in this case now, some people they don't know whether they have. The problem is some people they don't know who to ask, right? Because they can't ask all of their colleagues saying hi, and are you Australian citizen? Because sometimes you don't know. It's really feel awkward, right? You don't know. Which in this case what we do is really to explore the memory. Say, hey, I realize you actually work for this company. Who's actually your connection? Then you find your connection this way, right? Now, people's memory is that we don't have a really good memory. Nobody has really good memory. Sometimes they forget, and then things pass. You don't know whether this person you actually used to work is Australian citizen or not, Australian permanent resident or not. Now, from August, you have to have the nominator. You have to have a professional connection, meaning you need to start connect with your people. Your colleagues, right? Connect, because you don't know, but you just need to ask, and that's other way that's more scientific, in order to find out whether this person, your colleagues, is Australian citizen or not. Because sometimes you don't want everybody know what your motive. You don't want to let anybody know. So is there any way better for us to really identify, oh, this is my colleagues, my ex-colleagues. I think he's actually Australian citizen. And if you approach them, that will be you have a higher rate of success, because you don't want to ask everybody who appears to you. You don't know that Australian citizen or not. You want to be really, really accurate in that. So what happens if your nominator does not, has a professional connection with you? Now the new policy say even your nominator does not have a professional connection with you, you can still lodge. That's no problem. The difference is timing. The timing is if your nominator doesn't have a connection with yourself, it takes 12 months, okay? 12 months. So if your current case is actually stuck with immigration, which means you haven't got result yet, perhaps that's a problem, okay? That's a problem. Or you might say, okay, actually lodged last year. Well, it doesn't matter. You haven't got an invitation. The new policy will apply to you now. The new policy will provide to you now. So can you change the nominator at the time of, being processed? 100%. But you need to indicate, hey, I just realized that the change in policy. I realized that I have multiple nominators, but I want to consider Mr. John Smith to be my nominator now. He's actually my colleague, whatever that. But people might ask, how immigration going to find out whether this person I know or not? Well, as a professional, when you write a letter, when you write a form, you will need to indicate how you actually met each other in terms of what kind of work you did in the past, and you're gonna need to describe that. That is the person you're gonna write the letter. They're gonna describe that. You can't just say, that's colleague. So even if people ask me to write a reference to them, I will identify myself. Okay, my name is Wu RM, and I'm specialized in this area. This is my team member. She has been working with it for a very long time. My experience for her is this, that, dedicated and hardworking, intelligent, and efficient time management. And then we praise a lot about these people. And then we describe in instance this kind of project we did together, and realize that's this kind of element. So if people ask me to write a reference letter, well, I will definitely identify myself as a referee. I identify myself. I will identify my relationship with that candidate, right? I want to really establish, well, I have credential here to say something about them. I can't just say, you're going to say your credential, which means your position, what you're doing, your standards, right? So they check that. Now in this case, you might ask, in this case, is that going to take a lot longer time because of the change in policy? 100%. The processing time will always become longer, right? So that's always I say to the potential candidate, the best time for you to lodge is yesterday. The second best time is now, because now the processing gonna last a lot longer. Why? Because this kind of understanding is gonna need to read all the wordings in your form, all the wording in the reference letter, and then you have to analyze, I realize this person has a professional connection or not. The best way of you doing from here on now is really, first sentence you need to say, I have connection with this person through what project, right? You need to identify yourself first. Now, today's really talk about whether you need a nominator and whether nominator is mandatory. And I explained to you from August 2021, you are required to provide a nominator that has professional connection with you. If you don't have this element, although it doesn't mean that 100% you'll fail, but likely you'll fail, and then the processing time will obviously a lot longer compared to someone who has nominators with a professional connection. If your EOI has not decided yet, this new policy applies to you now. And then all you want to do is really to find out how you can actually meet the new requirement in a very short amount of time before they make decision on your EOI. I hope this one help you. Please do not hesitate to contact us for a free EOI assessment. My email address is below. And please also subscribe our channel because I update GTI policies all the time. And this is really fairly new to the market. Thank you. Bye-bye.